Oh.
Yeah. We need to.
No buzz. No
we need
buzz.
to.
Both of you need to stop.
We need to play it on the original speed next week. I forget. No freestyle. No,
you don't
freestyle.
want to drop a few lyrics?
That's not
like
I'm with Tobi though. I forget what the original sounds like. Actually, no, I do remember what it sounds like, but I mean, I don't know.
It's crazy. It's been a while since we did the original.
Play the original at the end every week. You guys say this
every week. Version of it though. It's not the same tempo.
Yeah, it's not the same. It's not the same than flipping it. Let's see. I feel like I'm for some reason this feels like the normal speed now to me, which is why I'm like I don't remember how much faster the other one was. The original.
I don't think but I didn't change the speed.
He just reversed it. I
literally just reversed it. Yeah, that's all I did.
Yeah, I guess that's true. Yeah,
I didn't touch y'all. Don't be throwing me under the bus trying to make it look like Brandon.
That's true. It is reversed. That's so true. I completely forget. I forget what it sounds like not reversed.
I tenanted it.
Yeah, that's what you did. Huh?
Oh man,
not work. That is not work.
What show did I log into?
Amazing start.
I tenanted it.
I tenanted it.
Yeah. See,
I tenanted it. I tenanted it. That's it.
You got it.
Yo, anyone who's doing it right now is like, what the fuck is happening with these guys? We are Geektastic Cypher, your favorite geek podcast, your favorite podcast in the city. And we got another crazy episode for you guys. Welcome back, Dave, who was off being I don't know. What were you doing, Dave? Why were you not here last week?
I thought you were about to say he was off being a dad.
I hope. I was going to say there's a lot of questions.
I was gonna say off being a damn fool, but then I was just like, no, I won't be. Okay. I won't be mean.
That's mean.
That's where the D was coming from. The D, the you know, the tenant dad and the
no man.
Yeah, Dave needed a break.
I just need that pause. You know, recharge the battery.
Okay, Rory.
Oh no.
That's. I don't know if you guys have been paying attention to podcasts.
10 episodes behind.
So it's funny because that you're behind. For anyone who's listening, Skinny and I listen and watch the Joe Budden podcast. And at one point, first off, I want to say shout outs to Devin, shout outs to Lee J, shout outs to the day ones who've been tuned in, always holding it down and repping on the show. Yeah, I can't say I'm a day one when it comes to the Joe Budden podcast. I jumped in quite a few years later. Yeah, Skinny's a day one. But all this to say, two of the hosts left the show.
Oh shit!
For like 6 weeks, and no one was talking about why. And Joe Budden stayed, and Park stayed, who's the engineer, and they just kind of did this weird thing where they had these two guys, Ice and Ish, come in and hold it down. And you know, whatever. I didn't listen to any of those episodes because I'll be honest, I didn't find them interesting. I'm not trying to be disrespectful to them. I just didn't find their takes on stuff as informed.
You can tell me when to skip then, because I'm at like 423.
But if you just want to see the tea, because 435, this episode that just came out today, is when the boys came back, and the first hour is the discussion about how things went so wrong. And it's very interesting. Like
they're criticizing themselves, you mean?
They full on have a conversation about why they weren't doing the show together, about what happened, the disrespect from one end, the anger on the other, everything that led up to the issue, and what they did to try and rectify it. And it's interesting. It's a little crazy. It's pretty funny. Joe Budden does not take any credit for the situation, even though based on the conversation and based on Joe's own admission, it sounds like it's 90% Joe's fault.
His fault.
Like, check it out. Like if we were doing, so we've been doing this podcast together for a minute. If two of us had beef and I told you don't come to the show next week.
Yeah.
So I call one of y'all and tell you don't come to the show next week. The one of you that I told don't come to the show calls the other co-host and says, "Yo, I don't know what's going on, but this is what I got." So this da 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 da. And then I call the other person and tell them I need to talk to you. And unfortunately, we don't get to work things out. We don't end up talking. But when we do finally talk, I'm talking to you. I tell you the situation. And then at one point, you're asking me a question. And I tell you the podcast is none of your business. Even though you've been on this show with me for years, I tell you the podcast is none of your business. So then you say, I'm out. SpongeBob meme style.
Yeah.
Full on, you bounce. And the other dude you told not to come in. So how is it their fault? How are you going to turn around and blame them and say, but you guys abandoned your fans?
So wait,
I told one of you not to come in and I disrespected the other by saying the podcast is not your business. It's none of your business.
But why was the original person told not to come in? Was it out of the unknown?
They've been having issues. They've been having issues. There's been some tension. They've regularly been talking about how they're going to fight every episode for a good couple weeks.
Oh wow!
It was getting tense. It was getting tense. But it's just funny because Joe's narrative is very much like, you know, you to Rory, like you didn't want to. You went on one of the podcasts on my own network and told people you don't want to do a podcast. So I told you don't come in next week. But I feel like when you listen to the whole episode, a lot of it comes down to, and all three of them admit, we should have just talked about this earlier, and we didn't, and that's why it turned into this. And that's one of the things I find funny.
Okay, so basically the snowball effect happened.
Sounds like it. Because men don't communicate, which is what the whole thing broke down to. Men don't communicate properly, is what they were saying, which I think is fair. A lot of men don't communicate properly.
I think it's fair, except for maybe amongst actual close friends. If amongst actual close friends, I think might be.
Well, yeah. I mean, that's one of the reasons I was upset, because Maul is his friend and they've known each other so long. And then Maul was just like, you got me twisted if you think you're going to tell me the podcast is none of my business. And I've been doing this show with this many years. So if you're not going to respect it, bounce. And that's what it was. Sorry, Skinny, you were about to ask something.
More or less, I was kind of going to. Okay. So the Joe Budden podcast and what Joe does really is very self-destructive. However,
preach.
To defend him, I do understand that for those who don't watch the show, Rory is like the Dave, but not so much a Dave. It's almost as if, say, Dave, you and your girl were going through a great moment. You guys got engaged, and then through just behind the scenes, and just through your temperament and your mood on the show, clearly it sees that you and your girl are going through some shit at home.
Yes,
and you're bringing that shit to the pod, right?
You shouldn't do that.
Okay. You're not doing it directly. You're not doing it like purposefully. You're unaware of that. Your mood is you're just stinking up the place.
Yeah,
right?
you just have you have negative energy.
So you've been doing this for weeks, and me as an outsider who's just been listening to the show as long as it's been on, I can tell that. So if Joe goes to, say if Brian were to go to Dave and be like, hey, Dave, you've been syncing up the place a bit. I don't know what's going on at home, but you maybe need to figure that out. Perhaps you should come in next week.
If that's how he said it, I agree with you. But he literally, the text was, don't come in next week. Rory wrote back, what's this about? And Joe just sent an exclamation point. That's it. So, I mean, because see, what's Skinny let's take a minute to acknowledge that Skinny is describing a healthy conversation between friends. Homie, you're having a bad time.
Even then, it's not usually that clear and healthy.
No, but
I know.
What Skinny described is what the conversation is. If let's just suggest that was the actual case, right?
Yeah.
The exact reason. Skinny just described what the actual conversation should have been initially, so that nothing would have went awry, or maybe not the exact same wording, but to something to that effect.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's some funny shit.
That's super funny.
Because
I'm not gonna lie, that's pretty. Joe has no remorse. He has no filter. He has
and that's why
words matter.
Yeah. And that's why I understand Maul's point of view, because again, if I said to Dave, your home, like even if I said it in the most constructive way, but I didn't talk to you guys before, or we didn't discuss this as a team, and we as a team host the show, wouldn't you guys feel a way about it though?
For sure.
Don't come in next week. Exclamation point.
Yeah. Don't come in. And then, yo, what's this about? Exclamation point.
That's like, yeah, that's crazy. That's like me kicking Skinny out of the chat, and then he messages me privately like, why can't I join the chat? And I send the hands up emoji like that. You know?
That's what the title should be. Why can't I come in? And that has to be in the title. The emoji has to be in the title. That'd be great.
Yeah, that's deep.
The shrug emoji. Because I just think, like, we've been doing this show for a long time, and I think one of the things that it sounded like they were having discussions, like Skinny was saying, you can tell something's going on in Rory's personal life, whatever it is. He doesn't speak about publicly, but something's going on, and he makes comments about like giving his number to people, but he was engaged at one point, so obviously something's changed in his life. Hold on.
He got engaged at Jay-Z's like Easter party or like brunch. It wasn't just like a little engagement. He got engaged publicly. Like, buddy, you better follow through.
So did he check with Jay-Z first?
He had to. I would. Would you? I would definitely check with Jay.
Just to read one of the comments, Jay Gris says, bruh, it's the Joe Budden podcast. Can't stand the other fools anyway.
He's right though. He's right though. Because if this was called the Dave I forget your last name for a second now for some reason. Dave Kosho podcast, or the Doc Holiday podcast, or the Skinny and the Dip podcast. Who knows?
Yeah.
Like that.
Well, Skinny. This is actually a good point. You were starting to work on a pod with your boy, right?
Yeah.
His name is Chops.
Yeah.
You guys named the pod Chops Vision.
Chop Vision. Yes, we did. Yes.
If he decides to do the show solo, and because people start to see it as his show, you would feel a way about that discussion though, because you and him started it from day one. Right,
but in a way, I did that purposefully so that if he wanted to, he could. You know what I mean? Like, I'm more of a producer role. Like, I'm a lot less me there than I am here.
Like, I wonder what the conversation behind the scene is, right? Like, this is my podcast, whatever I say goes, or this is my podcast, but it's also you guys, and we get to make decisions. Like, whatever that conversation was, is they only know what that is, but it seems clear that Joe is holding 100% of the control here.
That dynamic was the exclamation point.
Yeah, it is his business. And that's the thing. I feel like Maul's reaction to it when Maul was saying, how are you going to disrespect me like that, but saying it's none of my business?
Right.
I understand Joe saying that a bit, but at the same time, you can't really say that, Joe, because I've been doing this show with them since day one. Well, at least Rory's been there since day one. Rory
came in episode like 12. He ain't day one.
He's okay, but what? He did the first 12 by himself
with Marissa, and then Marissa got booted, and then so Rory wasn't always there. He was in and out.
Yeah, but Skinny, if we're being serious, before the money came, the show, because the podcast is literally called the Joe Budden Podcast with Rory and Maul. They are in the title, but recently he took them off the artwork for the podcast, and he replaced them. And then at the same time, he doesn't talk to them he doesn't explain to anybody what's going on, which is fine. You don't have to if you don't want to. But in the absence of information, and we all know this is geeks, in the absence of information, what happens? Theories float, speculation. That's the perfect word. People speculate like a mother. Like, it gets crazy.
Joe, I think just from like knowing him, not personally, obviously, but just how he came into the industry, everything that's happened. I was a huge Joe Budden fan from the beginning. I'm not anymore.
Yeah,
I was a rap fan. I'm not a fan of anything else he's doing right now. And that's fine. It's his business. But he has, and I was about to say exactly that. He has been a dick in a lot of situations. As smart as he thinks he is, as enlightened as he thinks he is, as deep as his raps can be, and how for someone who talks so much, he has a hard time giving that same level of deepness to someone face to face. Right? He's just a dick about everything. He just doesn't. I think he needs to write a song for everything he wants to say, almost, so that people can understand where he's coming from. Right? He just doesn't explain himself. Like, and
I get that. I get that vibe.
He can't articulate.
He can't articulate in the middle of an argument in real time.
In rap.
But I think that's one of the points. That would be funny if you just started rapping at them. But I think that's one of the points that the whole show and their whole interaction is trying to make, that Joe has a certain way of speaking, and Joe thinks that the way he speaks to people
is fine.
Because at one point he tells the guys, like, you know, they're telling him they felt disrespected. And then Joe's like, I don't owe you guys respect.
like how is that a normal
Thank
response?
You. Like,
how is that a normal response?
Yeah. And then Joe is because at one point Rory's trying to say, like, you know, you owe people respect. Joe's just like, I owe random strangers on the street respect. I don't, you know, like, and they're like, that's not the same
answer.
No, but that's rude. If they've been, how long have these people been on this show for?
5 years.
That's a long time.
They started right before us.
That's literally, Dave. Yeah, you came on late on the show, and we tell you, and I one day just up and do this exact same thing to you, knowing that you're not an original quote unquote member or whatever. You know what I mean? Like, there's no. Once you're in, it's weird. 5 years is a long time for someone you've been doing a podcast with, for you to say the kind of things he's saying. But I only way I see it is he's a dick. What?
To me, it's the concept of I don't owe you any respect. I mean, you were saying before one of them were one of his closest friends and stuff like this, right?
He owes some respect.
Yeah. Like, yeah, Maul was his roommate. They were roommates for years.
So in my head, I'm like, for you to say, like, I don't owe you respect, then who do you owe respect? Because that doesn't make any sense.
Childish. It's childish. He's literally, that's what I'm saying. He's a dick. Like, that's the only way you can explain that away.
That, or he's just got an acute way of touching people's nerves because he just chooses to, like. Did
you say cute?
Acute.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
It's more like he had a thought and he says it right away instead of like going through the filter of like, how should I say it? You know what I mean?
I want to think that that's one of the situations, and that's why he speaks the way he speaks. But I don't think that's what it is.
I don't think that's what it is, man. I think he's just an asshole.
He sat there for like 45 minutes listening to them talk and then told them, I don't have to respect you.
But obviously, this is why people like watching him, like Jay Grace says, right? That's the whole point. They want to see Joe say something fucked up and watch the other two squirm.
Yes.
You know, that's what it comes down to. And if I were them, fuck, it's kind of unfortunate because I don't know Rory or Mal from anything else, and I don't know if they can parlay this into something else.
Well, did you know that they have something else? Did you already know that? Sorry, I was going to just say that they have their own podcast, Rory and Mal.
How's that doing?
Separate podcast?
Yeah, on their like network now, apparently.
Oh, that I didn't know.
Yeah.
Well, then
I didn't know that.
Maybe take all that drama and tension and bring it there.
Somebody told me that could just be like, you know, false, but I will confirm and get back. But yeah,
I expect that Ish and Ice are going to be invited to do something though, because the chemistry with them, as much as I didn't find those episodes, I listened to the like half of one and I didn't find it.
Agree.
Stop bringing in your friends, bro. Get out of here. Not everyone can talk. Stop.
Yeah, and that's what it is.
It is.
Well, it's not just about talking though. It's people help get you engaged as well.
Well, yeah. And it's also the type of energy is different. Like Rory comes from like the industry, the labels and stuff like that. He himself has worked and has done A&R. Mal is brothers with Big, who was part of getting Rockefeller started. And so these guys are actually part of the culture. And then Ish and Ice have Joe. As far as I can tell, like they, and I no disrespect them. I don't, as if whatever. It's not even like I owe them this, but I'm just saying I don't know them from anything else. I don't know their backstory. They, you know, it just sounds like they're just Joe's friends, which is fine. But
it's like Jay and Silent Bob, right? Like they're a bunch of Jays. No offense. But
like with this show, you know, I've known all of y'all for a minute, and the elements we bring to the show is like Tobi, you know, is in Toronto right now and just has the inside track on everything that's happening. He sees a whole bunch of stuff literally on his street. He also bumps into actors at his gym and just generally works in an industry in a place where you might see something come through. Skinny, exact same thing. Skinny also worked in gaming, also has that knowledge. Also, you know, like if you have credits on a game, you're in industry. And Dave, you are connected because you own or a part owner of an independent comic label. So this is our show. This is the energy we bring, and this is the knowledge we bring. We don't sit around and just around with stuff. We actually know and then if I just all of a sudden said, "Yo, guys, take take a beat and I call up my buddy that I just like talking geek stuff with. As interesting as that conversation is going to be, does my buddy know, maybe what projects are being worked on, maybe has some insight, maybe some information, never revealing anything, but we're always just talking and we're always just communicating about the industry in itself. That to me is important. So, those guys held down with Joe because they know Joe and it would be cool and it was funny conversation. But at the end of the day, man, so.
You just gotta learn to speak to your boys, man. That doesn't sound right. That doesn't sound healthy at all.
Yeah,
like they need counseling.
I think they're actually doing counseling.
Yeah, they do. You need some couples counseling for your throuple over there because this shit's not gonna last long if you continue on this path. For real. Speaking of being in the industry and seeing things happening, I was I think I messaged you guys. I was close to we weren't allowed to come anywhere near it, but the set of Why the Last Man, the TV show that's being filmed. It's being filmed here in Toronto.
That was that one had an up and down, right? Because they had lost the lead actor, then came back, and it seemed like a tumultuous thing, but it's going on. It looks like they're going through production pretty well. And I tried to I heard Diane Lane was there, so I tried to get close enough to see if I can grab a photo, but it didn't really go down. It's kind of cool. They were shooting like an alleyway, like it looked like so the secret agent, the black girl, Why the Last Man. Yes. Yeah.
43.
I don't remember her title.
Anyway, I saw that character in an SUV scene going in an alleyway, so I was like, oh, that's pretty cool.
Awesome. And when is the show supposed to? That first of all, FX, right?
Yes, FX.
Okay, and I'm wondering when it's supposed to air. But I guess if they're only filming now, especially with COVID, that's one thing.
Late 2022.
I think 2022. Yeah, that's one thing that really sucks about COVID. It's going to slow down the production for a lot of series. Like the kind of timeline that we got used to, where people could just film a series within 2 months and just pop out the episodes and keep going. I feel like because of COVID, they really have to spread those out. They have to get the testing done every day. They have to do so many things. And I understand why some people are really nervous about that when it comes to television, because it also delays stuff and trying to work out when episodes are going to launch, when you're going to premiere, other shows that are going to go up against you, how other productions are going, all that stuff. It becomes a bit of an issue. So it is unfortunate, but I mean, hey, industry trying to thrive and
said it's slated to stream on Hulu in 2021. So I guess late 2021.
Oh my God.
Damn.
Okay. They started filming in October. So I guess it's pretty much
okay, my bad. I thought
they had hiccups along the way, but since October it seems like they figured it out. That's 8 months, something like that so far.
Yeah. Oh, in that case, they're almost done then, probably.
Yeah. That's cool. I can't wait to see what they what comes out. Because that was one of my favorite, if not up there for me in terms of graphic novels.
I could only get past a certain amount. At first, I was down with it because remember we talked about it. We talked about Why the Last.
Yeah,
I think we did an episode of That's Canon of it.
Yeah, we did.
The comic book is fun, but then when it's just all women are crazy, and he just starts to write the women as these really intense archetypes for specific things, these women represent these types of women, and these women represent these types of women, and he started to lock women into these archetypes that I was just that seems wholly dangerous, sir. You got to be careful with who how you're.
Yeah, isn't the writer a woman for Why the Last Man?
The original. It's behind me here.
I'm pretty sure.
The original writer? No, the original writer is a guy.
Oh, okay.
It's Brian K. Vaughan.
Brian, you're right. No, but she's the co-creator and the art. Yeah. Never mind.
Yeah, Guerrera.
Yeah. Okay.
And again, I mean, Brian K. Vaughan. We've talked about him on the show.
Sorry, she's a writer on the show. That's.
Oh, good. Okay, so that might help. Because there's a little bit. Brian K. Vaughan. He's
got his moments.
But there's moments where it's just like that whole story he wrote about how the trans men who were originally, because the whole thing is that everyone with the Y chromosome has died, and then so trans men who were born with the XX chromosome live, but they identify as men. And then there was this group of women who were like hunting the trans men to be like, no men allowed. And it's just like, okay. But then they're like going out of their way to try and murder these trans men. And that to me seemed like very problematic.
I think that's being, from what I remember, I think that's being included in the show though. They might change it up in some way. Yeah. But I remember them hiring like a trans actor at some point too.
I just think the energy of hunting trans is
but that's the thing. That's the beauty of this comic book or this graphic novel is that the art looks very like teen, but the story and what's happening is pretty deep and like adult in theme.
Yes.
So I think that's why sometimes it's like it's hard to digest a lot of the stuff that's going on, especially that the whole trend. But I think they'll change that for TV in some way. They have to like readapt it so that I
don't know if we feel comfortable with writing stories about hunting trans people. That just to me, 2021. Whether or not
why does it work in the graphic novel and not on TV though? Like,
in the graphic novel, I don't think it worked in the graphic novel. That's what I'm saying. I felt uncomfortable. I was just like, why are you hunting these trans people? Like, you need to stop. Don't write this. I understood what and I'm
gonna do it again for everybody watching. I got them all here right here.
Yeah. I only have the first 5. But so I think in the comic book, it's not that it worked. It was that it made sense in the context. And you know what, Toby, you might be right. They might be able to do it in the show because it's not the idea of hunting trans people. It's the idea that the women are like, men were in a like, and I don't know if some of you have seen this, but there's a series of tweets that women have done multiple times where in a world without men. And I got to tell you, if you read those tweets, those are so sad because it's all the freedoms that women feel they could have in a world without men where they don't feel in danger and stuff like that. And it's really intense sometimes to read. But when I read the comic book, I understood the idea of like in a world without men, women would, and it's just like all these freedoms they felt. And
you know what's funny about that though, is that he still touches on the fact that absolute power corrupts absolutely, regardless of gender.
Yeah, very much.
So I wonder if at some stage the same thing would happen. That's what the show is about. That's what the graphic novel is about. If you flip it on its head, is it better? Actually, but the thing is, they inherit the earth through chaos, right? It's not like they inherited it through a passage of rights.
And there's like dead bodies everywhere, and there's and women some of the women still have a longing for men because all the men disappeared doesn't mean their attraction to men disappeared.
That's why Urich has to stay hidden,
right? Yeah, that's part of it. But then remember, there's also women who were dressing up as men to like be sexual partners with other women. Like they had fake beards, and they were like,
"Dude, this comic book is good, man."
It is. It's he writes the archetypes of characters very weird though. But I'm excited for what they're gonna do with it.
He improved it on Saga.
Yeah.
Saga is great. Like
Saga doesn't even make sense. Like you look at Saga, and you're like that when they make the movie I
think he does acid. I think honestly, yo, dude, to come up with some of the stuff.
He does acid.
You've read it.
I know.
For that's canon.
Yeah. I also have that here too for those.
I 100% understand what you're saying. I just think it's funny to think like this is what our reasoning is. He must be doing acid. This is why the stories are the way they are.
Jay Grizz over here trying to bully Skinny. Ignore it, Skinny.
What's this idiot saying?
Jay Grizz is actively just trying to get entertainment. Just a quick shout outs to the Nerdstock crew. They just released a volume 1 compilation, 16 artists, 17 tracks, all nerd bands, art by Ben Gauthier of Squared Idea, which we just mentioned is the indie label out of Montreal that Dave is one of the heads of. And the Nerdstock is working at having their first Nerdstock in 2022. So, shout outs to those guys. Go check it out. Hit up Devin if you're in the chats. If you guys are watching the show or if you're listening to the podcast later on, you can always go to Dave's page or follow Dave, and he has all the Nerdstock and all the squared idea.
I have all the indie stuff. Come right here if you want indie comic.
Indie for life.
Come over to the Merc side.
They're tickets, right? It looks like not tickets, but the album is
$10. Only $10. Yeah.
Oh, that's cheap. It's cheap as hell.
Yeah. And I've heard some of the artists before. It's entertaining because it's tracks like that are about nerd stuff. Like if I'm correct, there's even like I think they're called the Flanderses or the
oh yeah.
The guys. I think they're on the album and they're pretty good.
Cool. Dope. Guys, I mean, I feel like we don't want to wait too long because View the Right Thing, we got so much stuff to discuss. If you guys are seeing this, if you're watching this, the background to this week's episode is Mortal Kombat. And I feel like we owe it to the listeners and our fans to discuss this immediately because I've been seeing people celebrating this film on the internet, and I am shocked that some people like this.
I was excited last Wednesday.
Okay.
I told you guys they released the trailer with the opening scene, and I saw that and I was like, yo, if this is about Scorpion and Sub-Zero, their history, and we're going to get to see how like that whole thing builds out, and they're not going to be on the same team, obviously, like based on the confrontation. You know, I was looking forward to that. And then right after that opening scene, everything went to shit. The moment Cole Young, the moment is.
I disagree that it was that quickly. I'll say that.
Yeah.
Okay, for me, I'll say this.
It was that quickly.
For me, the fact that the best part of the movie for me was when Kano was there. Like Kano and Sonya's interactions, and then the first fight where Kano is there for the fight, and Kano gets hit in the leg with the knife, and the comedic reactions, and then him fighting, and then him winning, and Kano being Kano. And that to me was the best part of the movie.
Yo, and they've been acting across from a parrot saying those same lines, and
listen,
the rest of the characters were trash.
Everybody bigged up Kano way too much, though. That's the thing. Like, whereas everyone was like Kano. The minute I realized that nigga was Doug Guggenheim, I was like, "Fuck out of here."
That makes it even better.
No, it doesn't.
Come on,
no, it doesn't.
Come on.
Because he's Doug from House of Lies, you couldn't enjoy it.
Listen, Doug Guggenheim was a special guy to me, and for
come on,
Kano character, which we'll get into it.
I think if anything, that's why he was good, because he was he has comedic timing, because they needed the comedy, because the rest of that movie was shit.
Yeah,
how do you hype up a tournament? Only to fucking ignore the tournament.
Yeah, that's the thing that's the thing that broke the camel's back hardcore for me. But honestly, I didn't mind the build-up until once they were like on their way to the temple. I was like, it was an immediate like, this is very C movie now, and you guys are, all the dialogue is very C level dialogue. And I'm like,
made it a 1995 movie for me,
bro. It was like I told you before, it was a C movie disguised as a B movie, wanting to be an A movie.
Right?
I think it was a shot for an A movie that became a mediocre B movie. Because I won't lie, I got to the end, I was like, okay, but I was up like when I was upset, it was after the fact. It was like, what happened to the tournament? Why that, like, watching it, it wasn't. I don't know. I didn't think it was that bad of a watch first round.
Oh no.
Okay.
Listen,
you know what?
Yeah, you go.
I just wanted to touch on the fact that, guys, this is the same guy who finishes CW shows that we stopped
watching.
I will pay.
And this, I had no. The other thing, though,
it wasn't
I had no expectation for this film. You guys had expectation for this.
I didn't have expectation.
You said yourself before you were excited last Wednesday.
I was hyped after watching
last Wednesday that the movie was coming out.
After watching the opening trailer, I said I was hyped.
Yeah.
I was like, before that, I had no expectation.
Yeah, I'll give it. Okay, so Dave, I'll say this: everyone who saw the first 7 minutes said, if this is what the movie is going to be, we're excited, because the first 7 minutes was a solid fight. Yeah. And then
that's the only thing.
Yeah, so I know a lot of people
and storytelling the first part.
See, I didn't see the first 7 minutes when everybody else saw it.
Me neither.
And I thought, okay, why are they fighting so slow? I don't like. I've seen better fight. Like I've seen faster fighting in a CW show. You guys are trained samurai, not ninjas. Samurais, all right. I've been playing Ghost of Tsushima. I know how samurais fight. Y'all are trained ass samurais. You're gonna go and whip around your head and kill all these niggas with this fucking like dirt pike from a garden. All right, super fast. But then you get to Sub-Zero and you're gonna go, stop that shit, nigga. What is that? Like he killed your wife.
Yeah,
go faster.
The things that all the special characters were the good things about this movie, though. Like Sub-Zero, Scorpion, Kano, the ones that were unique were the only good ones. Like I don't know why they cut budget for fireballs. That was something else I felt after a lot of the CGI was like dedicated to specific people. No, they spent
Sub-Zero at the whole
Sub-Zero.
Yeah.
Sub-Zero at the whole budget.
And you know what's rough? The fact that Sub-Zero was the one who looked like he had the whole budget, but then you get to the end of the film and he makes that ice sword, and that shit looked like something you could buy at Kmart in the dollar store bin after Halloween.
Oh, that's why they use it all at the beginning.
No, Dave. Rewatch the scene. I watched that shit in 4K. And I looked at him pull that plastic ass sword, and he does the whole like ice hand thing, and I'm like, oh, we using some graphics now, and it just looked like a plastic sword unfolding, and I was like, uh-oh, what's happening? And then he does the whole sword, and I'm just like, sir, why are you carrying a white plastic sword with little fake pieces of sparkle on it? What is happening?
My expectations were so low that I wanted to like it. Does that make sense?
Mine were like sea level. Like I didn't have any expectations.
Forget the levels. Can we talk about the Power Rangers Arcana? Let's just get into that.
Yeah, you know what? That's fair.
I want to slice that apart. I want to rip that apart.
But they wanted. I get what they wanted to do. They wanted to make sense of the powers, but this wasn't the way to do it.
Yeah.
No, because it just makes sense. Hold on. Special move. Go on.
Let's actually review the movie.
Why?
Can I make one more comment about the cast?
But we're not reviewing the movie. We're just saying it sucks, and we're not explaining. So for some of you who've watched it, hopefully, if you guys enjoyed it, you enjoyed it. If you didn't watch it, we're actually going to talk about some of the scenes right now. So I'll continue. The beginning 7 minutes, solid for me. The fight with Kano, once we see like the stuff with Cole, I didn't like. The stuff
that's what I'm saying. That was immediately after the Sub-Zero scenes.
The stuff with Cole,
and then what dropped it for me too was Jax coming in, finding Cole because him and Sonya have been talking about this tournament and we're trying to recruit people. And then you know what Sub-Zero is capable of.
Yeah.
And you decide, hey, Cole, take your family. I will stall Sub-Zero with my non-power having ass.
Like, black man.
What is
my non-power having?
It made no sense.
So you know, for me, those all the stuff between the end of the first 7 minutes scene all the way to when you finally get to Cole leaving his family and realizing he needs to go and find Sonya. Sonya being this really crazy, jacked up, like military, like hyper freaked out, like edge of her seat, ready for action any moment character was a little weird for me, but fine. It makes sense. She's essentially seeing the world coming to an end and really doesn't have any options to help out because she's not one of the chosen ones. So
I enjoyed how they knew about the tournament. The only thing I didn't like is if Earth is missing heroes, why did they have to find them?
Yes.
Like why
like, where was Raiden?
You want to know how messed up, how what you say is so true to the point where they finally start making their way to the temple with Kano's help of all people.
Because Kano knows where the temple is.
And they run into Liu Kang. He goes, finally, you're here.
Yeah.
What? So we've been waiting for you. We left you clues and breadcrumbs along the desert.
Question. Why did Kano say I ran drugs through Raiden's temple and then Raiden's temple is an actual temple? And it's like, there's things that don't even make sense. You are smuggling drugs on the black market through Raiden's temple. The temple is actually a temple that Raiden and his people have been training in. Were they helping you run guns? Like
they only showed you half the dojo, man. The other half is where they make the money.
Maybe it was maybe it's just like to the unseen eye, like to a commoner like Raiden. Yeah, or to a like commoner like Kano, you won't see it, and the other people are just chilling there. You know, I don't know.
Okay.
They got rickety arms for what's his name from like another realm for Jack. So
yes,
I mean,
See, but
the arms were rickety because he needed his power. That kind of like that annoyed me. Really got the power.
No, I'm talking about
the 95 Jack's arms look so much better.
Yeah, the arms they got him were the highest tech they could find from other realms. That's what they said.
Those are garbage realms, my guy.
Yeah, dude, they are. They
You're
are.
telling me Raiden is a god, and that's what he got you?
No, I saw them shits and I started laughing. Listen, Danny and I had like the greatest time watching this movie because we were just laughing. And I was like, if this nigga digivolves into Jax, I'm gonna be mad.
Of course. What do you mean? You knew it the moment you saw him on screen watching Cole. You're like that. You knew who he was.
Jackson Briggs digivolve too.
Idiot. God damn.
Oh,
Yo.
wow.
And then when he gets his Arcana, the arms still look kind of whack.
Yeah.
So whack.
It was so whack. Yo, the only character I liked in terms of like actual skill was Kung Lao.
And they kill him.
Yeah.
And they killed the guy.
Okay, well, they had to kill him.
They had to kill him. You know that they had to.
They
Yeah,
had to.
Why? Because he was OP.
He killed the movie though.
Well,
I think
in
he
the,
had to kill the movie.
in the lore, Liu Kang's brother Kung Lao is dead, and somehow he's in Mortal Kombat 2. I do get it. I get it. But like,
this wasn't the time to kill him.
But,
Especially because there's no tournament.
But guys, yeah, that's my thing.
I love that part. Yeah, he's like, there's no tournament.
You guys are saying it's the lore. The lore literally just started. You didn't have to.
True.
You didn't even get to the tournament part yet.
Yo, Shang Tsung, first of all, terribly miscast. I don't even know why he was there. You're right. He didn't seem like he fit the aesthetics.
The villain from Batman, the Dark Knight.
You know what made me annoyed though? Is that when I first saw him and he was doing like something that was like, because I didn't really like, I was paying attention, but I was like, whatever to this movie. But like when he actually held the what's his name to like start taking his soul, I was like, oh yeah. I'm like, oh, now I know where I see you from, and now I know why you think you're a bitch. Is because you were a bitch in the Dark Knight, and you've never been in anything else. You just look like this stupid snitch from Dark Knight.
Yo, and I really
Kung Lao did by you whatsoever.
Kung Lao did challenge him though.
That's fine if Kung Lao challenged him. I think just him being there, was worthless.
I mean,
you guys remember the original movie, right?
Yeah.
The original Shang Tsung looked menacing and like had the part of like you look like a soul eater man.
That actor,
right? Yeah. This guy, like, you look like an idiot that has a bad mop on your head.
No, like, for sure. Like I said, miscast, and also costume was horrible. The storyline in terms of the recruitment, and they just didn't sell me immediately. Once you're not sold on the reason, on the why, the rest of the way you're just looking for cool shots. That's all it ended up being. Goro, first of all, looks like they reused they reskinned the Hulk, Mark Ruffalo's Hulk's face, because he looks exactly like the Hulk, and then they probably used the body from the orcs from the Warcraft movie, because that's literally what I couldn't unsee it was terrible. It's terrible CGI.
Got me.
So the actor playing oh, sorry, go ahead.
The last one that got me that you guys are gonna laugh at, right? Okay, because at least in Mortal Kombat, there's just no kind of, for these iconic characters, there's no speech. Mm-hmm. My man Scorpion doesn't speak a lick of English. Not to Cole, not to anybody. He even speaks to Cole in native tongue. His call sign is "Get over here." That's the movie.
Yeah, he said it. He said it in English.
That's the movie. You don't speak
centuries in hell, and I want to learn English.
But your call sign to your mortal enemy is "Get over here."
Oh shit,
man! The landscape, like this world that they were trying to create with the outer worlds and showing us different sections, it just horrible. It looked horrible.
Melina looked horrible.
One thing I did like that they added to the lore, I did like that if you killed someone from the tournament, you got branded.
Yeah,
that's the one thing that I liked. I was like, that's actually.
So you mean I could have literally been driving around in my car, got into a car accident, and accidentally kill someone that was in the Mortal Kombat, and then I get branded? Bullshit. Bullshit. I'm a regular fucking citizen. Exactly. What am I supposed to let someone kill me now so that they can get branded? What the fuck? Kind of makes no sense.
Dude,
that means anyone on the street, if I accidentally kill you, I am branded. Now I have to go fight Kung Lao or someone.
Wait, good question. If Jax never got his arms broke off, would he have digivolved arms within his arms? Would that have just killed him?
No, they tried to make it seem they tried to make it look like your Arcana, whatever you want to call it, Arcana is something that comes from pain.
Yeah.
It comes from your pain. So
Cole, they were trying to teach Cole through pain.
And Cole, pain is the fact that he fights and he gets beat up in every fight.
Yeah.
So they're like
high fighter.
So the more you get beat up, the more energy you get. Except he didn't really get energy.
No, he got an unbreakable armor and
then some weird side blades thing.
Yeah, and like a his tattoo logo.
Those are real. Those are actual.
He had Night Thrasher's batons, you know, because he's
they were not sharp, except he could cut with them.
Yeah.
No, it had an edge. One had a spike, and the other side was a blade.
Wow, you really looked at everything.
He's out here hoping for a good movie.
I wasn't hoping for a good movie. I'm just saying that, like, because I had such little expectations, the few things that were good, I was like, oh, look at that, and then you shot shit all over it.
All this to say, because I mean, I don't want to talk about it for too long. But
there's honestly not much to talk about.
Johnny Cage is going to be in the sequel. We already saw the nods to it.
There is going to be a sequel.
Yeah,
that's my thing. Do you guys think they're going to be able to make the sequel? Do you think they're going to get that for the sequel? No. Okay. Skinny says no.
If you made a sequel, you'd have to write a pretty You'd have to make up for this.
I'm telling you guys again. We didn't like it, but online, I'm seeing like a lot of people like this movie, and I think. But remember, we are what? I'm turning 38. I'm old enough to have watched the 95 movie at 12. Like
you're saying that the age group is
I think
but even for kids, okay, but that's what I'm trying to say.
I think like people who are
95 version 20s, didn't catch this much heat.
They didn't watch the 95
older.
These kids didn't watch the 95 version.
But the older people from that generation, people that were our age then, loved the 95 version.
They didn't hear of it. They didn't have the internet.
I personally still like the 95 version.
Yeah.
95 version's fine.
You know what, Jay? It's actually even better than this. Nah, 100%. Yo, it is Aquaman's armor, except made out of plastic.
Yeah, I saw it break at one point.
It legit was plastic.
Do you think this movie is better or worse than Annihilation?
It's
on par with Annihilation.
On par.
No, I say this actually beats Annihilation easily.
That's why you're crazy.
Well, I mean, I might be, but it's better than two big with the beast mode or whatever they did at the end of the Annihilation.
I mean, Liu Kang did the same thing to Homeboy in the fire.
Yes, he brought up the dragon.
Yeah,
that's the movie did. That's him manipulating the fire. That's different.
Right.
In which case, that was a cool moment. Don't say it wasn't a cool moment. Don't be bitter about that.
I love Liu Kang. He was one of my favorite parts. He's a little skinny.
For me, yeah.
In this movie?
Yeah. Kung Lao was a forecasting.
Kung Lao killing what's her name? Who's the girl with the wings?
Natara. He didn't need to do all that. Just snap her neck next time, bro.
No, but dude,
I like that too. That was dope. Like that's the best part. That was the best part of the whole damn movie.
That was the kill of the movie.
Yeah.
The fatalities were done. Kano taking the heart.
How do you know where the heart is?
I mean,
guessed.
The heart of the reptile.
Yeah.
Kung Lao cutting in half with his hat. And then one of the things that Sub-Zero did when he did his ice, the ice shot, not shot. No, you know the one where he makes a statue of himself and then dodges, and when you jump in, you freeze. That was the only thing that I was hoping they were going to do, because when Scorpion jumped into it, nothing happened to him. And I was like, yo, if you had done it to the original game, I would have been really impressed, because that move was always pretty cool, that when he would do that ice dodge, you got hit and then you'd get frozen and he could come back and hit you.
Who else did we see in this movie? That was
Cabal.
Cabal
was cool.
Yeah, Cabal was cool,
actually. I like Cabal. Actually, Cabal was cool. Actually,
I like Cabal.
Cool. The movements and everything.
But that's it. Cabal and Kano interacting. Good.
Yeah.
Kano's turn, the worst heel turn I've ever seen.
Super easy heel turn.
The worst WWE heel turn you can think of. That's what that was.
But you knew that he was a slime bog from the beginning.
Exactly.
Yes. but the way it just didn't make sense based on everything that had just happened.
Yeah.
But he doesn't feel like
Well, no,
okay, hold on. It doesn't make sense.
Go live in Outworld and have live in Outworld.
It makes a little bit sense because remember, they make fun of him the whole time to get him angry. He gets his laser eye, but they also generally don't like him. Like making fun of him was so easy to them because they don't like dude. And they
so fuck it, kill them. What?
Yeah. Dude,
Yeah,
Skinny.
I get what they're trying to say. It makes sense. It just doesn't hit.
Yeah.
Yes, I agree. It makes sense, but they didn't set it up properly. Because him turning makes perfect sense. Kano, from the beginning, you meet him, he's an asshole. So him turning makes sense.
Why did they do everything right at the beginning of the first movie?
Yeah.
The him turning, Kung Lao dying. Like, there's so many things you can hold off on.
Because so many more people are going to die.
Now, let them get along. Then, in between movies, you can give us a story about Kano fucking off somewhere and, losing touch and showing up on the other side in the second movie or something. But this movie should have been Sub-Zero and Scorpion recruiting for either side, and then the tournament.
No, it should have been Raiden recruiting, realizing that the people that they have, although were good, were not like trained enough yet. And then there was like a side story of how he got Scorpion out of hell, and it's like the agreement of you getting out is that you're going to help us win.
Yeah. Shang Tsung shouldn't have shown up, like you said, Dave.
Not if you're not going to have the tournament. If you're going to have the tournament, it would have been different.
Yeah. But also, one of the things I do like about the lore, the fact that Outworld has won 9 times in a row, and this is when Raiden starts panicking, is always funny to me. It's
Raiden's
like,
an idiot.
You didn't think to start panicking once they got to 5? Like, you need
they got to 5, even
Did
7.
you not realize that they were cheating the whole time?
Dude,
but why did they even get to go through the whole you know what, Shang Tsung was right. Like, why am I going to wait for one more tournament when I just won 9 in a row, and this one more is the one that's going to decide it all? What's the point of the previous 9?
If I was him, I would have done the same thing.
It doesn't even make sense now that we're talking about it.
Yeah,
it doesn't make sense that I won 9 out of 10. And this one is the one that's going to hold me back? It's true. I'd say fuck the tournament too.
Yeah.
Are you kidding?
One thing before I leave.
Hold on. Dave, let Skinny hit it.
Real quick before I hit. What the fuck did Jax think was going to happen when he took those metal arms to that guy's head? Like, he busted his head open. He was like, wow, these do work. Not what? Yeah. Like, if it didn't work.
Wasn't that the intention?
Dave, Skinny, I'll one up that. What did he think those little puny arms were going to do when he was trying to lift the boulder the first time?
Oh
right?
My gosh.
Oh, man, they should have fell out of his arms.
That was so... I saw that and I was just like... Remember when the little metal piece broke? I was laughing so hard. Anyways, I know you got to bounce, Skinny.
Oh, God.
But, so we'll end off on that. Mortal Kombat. If you guys want to see it, do it at your own peril. That's our opinion. We did not enjoy the movie. Watch 95. Watch the cartoon, not the cartoon, the live action series. Watch whatever you want, but don't watch this movie.
They have YouTube freaking fan made ones that are far better than this.
Yeah,
less expectation than no expectation. That's what you should go in if you're gonna watch it. No expectation.
Yeah,
negative expectation.
Like I would have stopped. There's certain things I just stopped watching because I don't like it, and I would have stopped. I wanted to have something to talk about for the show, so I kept watching.
Yeah. What annoyed me as well is that some of the dialogue, like that they tried to incorporate from the actual video game, like once or twice, I was like, "Oh, okay, the person said it," but like specifically, like Liu Kang's like fatality. I'm like,
yeah.
At best, this should have happened in the tournament, and it should have been the judge who said it about you winning.
Yeah.
Kung Lao outsider saying it would have made sense. Not
Kung Lao saying flawless victory was the dumbest thing I saw.
What does that even mean?
Who are you talking to? Who are you saying?
What does that even mean?
You're not.
What does that even mean?
That's like
given the context of what's happening.
That's trash talk. That to me passed because that sounded like trash talk of him.
But who? She's
flawless
dead.
Victory is not trash talk. Dave. There's no way.
You never done something and been like, yeah.
No, I
never say yeah. You know what? Say yeah. There's no way I've gotten into a street fight.
Thank you.
And after I friggin' either take someone down or knock someone out or whatever it is, I go, flawless victory.
Yeah.
What?
It's so stupid.
It's so dumb. It's so
Dave,
dumb.
Come on, Dave. You got to admit,
You're trying too hard to say
poking at you guys and making you guys have reactions.
He might as well look into the camera and said, "Flawless victory."
Yo, they knew that was so.
Maybe
dumb
I would have
that
enjoyed
when-
it even more.
when-
That would make it really see movie.
Probably. They knew that was so dumb that by the time Liu Kang says fatality, they're like, doesn't sound right. He's got to say something else. Fatality for Kung Lao.
Yeah.
What does that even mean?
Talk in the first person, bro. Third person, bro.
Yo,
It's true. It doesn't even make sense. It's like he's saying a fatality for Kung Lao, like as. Oh my god. No, oh my god. Oh my god.
This is third
Yo.
person. There's nothing wrong with that. People
100% Omar. This is top tier. How did this get made podcast candidate? If April Halley does not pass this off to Paul Scheer, I'll be mad because this is definitely like a topic of discussion for their podcast. Yeah.
Oh my god.
Holy crap.
That is so good. I just want to give a shout out to Jay Grizz on this one. 100%. Remember when Scorpion's Revenge, the animated film, came out? We talked about it. We said this was one of the best. And I think that's one of the reasons that a lot of people saw the first 7 minutes and thought, oh shit, we getting the live action version of this. Because that animated film was solid. It was really, it was good. It was good. It was good. I would highly recommend it.
It was such an easy path they could have stayed on. Easy path. Like,
and you know, okay. And dare I say it, guys? Dare I say it? I think Dave sent us the meme today that the Michael Fassbender, who is the real enemy, who is the real villain in DC, and they show like Lex Luthor, who is the real, and it's like no, who's the real one, and they show us Darkseid. It's like no, who's the real one, and they show the WB, and it's just like perfection. The WB with DC and Mortal Kombat has messed up, and in both cases, animated studios have done way better content than their live action, and they literally just have to take the animated film, use it as a storyboard, make the live action, and release the movie, and your fans would be happy. And time again, they don't do it, and I don't understand why. Because when you
want to speak ill on anybody's job and stuff, but like, if you're getting paid hundreds of thousands of dollars, to write a movie that's going to make millions and billions of dollars, shouldn't you at least try?
Shouldn't you at least try?
Real talk. Shouldn't you at least try? At least when you're making the film, did you really, whoever wrote the script, did you guys really think flawless victory or fatality for Kombat, or all the other stuff? Like, you know, what was it that Kano says when he takes the heart out? He also says something like all those one-liners. Those one-liners, I get that you made those one-liners for us fans who played the video game, but you put them in the movie in such an odd, awkward way. They didn't even fit. It felt like we've been saying, it felt like a C-list movie that's trying to be a B-list, that's trying to be an A-list. Like, Tobi's right. When you watch it, you're just like, what's happening? And all the actors are actors that you're just like, some of y'all kind of like, except for Homeboy that played Sub-Zero and Homeboy that played Scorpion.
They held it down as best they could, and honestly, Scorpion was only in like 3% of the movie.
The guy who did Kano as well.
Kano was fine.
I mean, but that's what I'm saying. When I'm talking about caliber,
bad writing though.
Oh, caliber of actor.
When I'm talking about caliber of actor, no offense to Homeboy from House of Lies, he's great as Doug. He does an excellent job, but I'm not going to put him in the same boat as Homeboy that played Scorpion, who's who was in Westworld. Like that dude.
He did that movie.
I'm gonna pull up the casting, but keep going.
I was trying to remember the movie, but I can't remember right now. What?
So that's all we care about. Sub-Zero working for Shang. They're about to take over the world. Raiden helped Scorpion get out of hell. They help recruit people together because Raiden promised Scorpion his revenge. Oh, Scorpion's revenge!
But you know what? Something that didn't make sense at all, though, in regards to this, Raiden and Shang Tsung are blatantly talking about how they're other gods, and they're talking about how those other gods, obviously, like they're intimidated to them by a certain extent.
But wait a second, Shang Tsung isn't a god though, because Raiden is the elder god.
Yeah. But they said there's other gods.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
Raiden did say that.
Yeah, there's other gods, right? So Shang Tsung obviously is aware that there's other gods. He knows that the other gods pay attention to the tournament.
Yep.
Yeah, that's why he's doing everything now.
No, but the thing, what I'm saying is that like he would have went out and like defeated, like tried to kill like one or two of the combatants. To try and kill it all, like wouldn't the other gods notice this and then just be like, okay, well, we're bad, like we're going to destroy the other world? Like,
they addressed that. They're too lazy. That was the line that they gave us. He literally says when Raiden and him are talking about it, Raiden says you can't do this, and Shang Tsung says the other gods are too lazy to pay attention. That's it. That was the line. That was a quick line. The first time they interact at the temple.
And then Raiden puts up that barrier.
Yeah, exactly. We've talked about this film enough. Ultimately, we're telling people that we didn't really love it. And also Jay Grizz is doing his usual ish of being like, when we talk in the next thing. So it's true. We do want to talk about this. Winter Falcon. If you guys haven't seen it, it's spoilers, but by now I don't know how you've avoided them because everyone's talked about it. Man, dude, the episode came out, and within the first 12 hours of the episode being out, they announced the film based on the ending of the 6th episode. I mean, spoilers, guys, you got to give people a chance to see the damn episode. Give them at least 24 hours before announcing that. But all this to say, our boy Anthony Mackie, aka Falcon, has now been tapped, and he's officially Captain America. That's how the series ended, as we all expected. They changed
vibranium wings. Thank God for protecting him.
Yep. We even saw the ending title that says the Falcon and the Winter Soldier changed to Captain America and the Winter Soldier. I don't know if that's
should have been Captain America and the White Wolf.
I've seen a lot of people post that.
Do you think that's going to be one movie, or do you think that you're going to have Captain America and then Captain America and the Winter Soldier as another 3 movie?
I think the next movie, Captain America 4, is going to be Captain America and the Winter Soldier.
And but do you think like there's going to be another 2 being the same thing with like a subtitle underneath?
I'm not expecting a trilogy.
Yeah, I'm asking, do you think they're going to make a trilogy out of Captain America and the Winter Soldier?
No.
There's not enough there for me. I could barely get through the season, to be honest. And I think it's going to be a team up. We'll see other Avengers in that movie.
Yeah.
We have to. I can't do it with just these 2. I can't.
You know what, though? You guys are right. Maybe they won't do Captain America and the Winter Soldier. If anything, that will be that will be season 2 of the show. But the Captain America 4 movie will be whatever else. Captain America 4 will probably be what's his name? It's going to be him and possibly, maybe, if we're lucky, Patriot. We might get to see Patriot.
Possibly, yeah.
I would like to see Joaquin Torres as the new Falcon, and I'd like to see Patriot. That's a
I think we're going to see newer Avengers in those movies because they use the Captain America movie a lot to reintroduce. Or to introduce new characters.
Yeah.
So I think we're gonna see that in the next in the Captain America movie.
Because Captain America leads, right? He has to have people to lead.
He needs a team. Yeah, exactly. Which is why the first Captain America was the only solo Captain America movie.
Captain America versus the Thunderbolts or something. That's what it's gonna be called. I think it's gonna be. I think.
But I don't think they're gonna face off though. Based on the way this ended, it felt like I'm not. They were gonna reserve the Thunderbolts for a Suicide Squad type thing.
Yeah. That's what I'm thinking.
I think you're going to be introduced
in this. I want to say the Falcon and the Winter Soldier is Black Panther for Black Americans. Shout out to Yannick for that one. I think that kind of makes sense. I mean, he definitely addresses a lot of the political stuff.
Gave a speech. It made that was it. The speech covered it all.
that was him being like, "I'm not backing down. This is what you guys."
Yeah, that was a well written. That was a straight to the point speech.
I know,
like Obama's speechwriter wrote that.
Yeah.
Crazy.
But what were your thoughts about the episode?
I thought the episode was good. I didn't think it was great. I was underwhelmed. I would say.
Oh, really?
I think I saw this as, after episode 4 and episode 5, I was just like, I really was hoping for a really big blowout, and it felt a little underwhelming.
Underwhelming. And they also confirmed a couple of things that I didn't want to be the case, like Sharon being the power broker.
Yeah,
Sorry, spoiler alert.
Yeah, Sharon Carter. I hate Sharon Carter's story. Either they have to change it or they have to make her a Skrull, because as they're writing it, it makes absolutely no sense. You have to make logic in the world that you've built, and Sharon Carter being a Carter and having that much of a legacy and being that upset because Daddy USA didn't love her enough and didn't bring her back, for her to go that hard on being Rogue doesn't
crazy.
make, like,
if anything, wouldn't she be trying hard to get back in the good graces?
I don't know.
She wasn't that betrayed. I'm sorry. Like, everybody was betrayed exactly, even more so than she was.
Also, what steps did you take to try and rectify the situation? The United States was dealing with a blip. Half the world's population disappeared. People are being uprooted and moved around. Everyone has lost family. And here you are running around upset because they didn't give you a pat on the back and say, thank you, ma'am. Get the fuck out of here. I'm so mad that that's how they wrote that character, because Agent 13 deserves a little bit more respect on her name.
I would have given her more respect if they did her a little bit better, but it just didn't. It didn't hit home for me in terms of her motivation, which is why I didn't want her. I wanted someone who's going to play that character to be someone I genuinely look at and go, that's a bad guy. That's a villain. And I didn't see that or think that with her. I literally, I see her going good again at some point. And that's, it's like,
and that's what we were talking. You guys talk about it and you say it all the time. Heel turns. That was a poorly constructed heel turn. It doesn't make sense. There's a lot of it to how it could be done. I'm just disappointed. And I think the scene that she had with Carly towards the end also really solidified the fact that it felt like they didn't know how to end off that story with her and with Carly. It felt
Carly's death was weak.
Yes.
Yeah, I will say that. I will agree with that 100%. I thought it was really, like, I thought the last scene was like pretty strong in the sense of, like, it was really cool that, like, how they infiltrated and stuff like that, and like a lot of the discussion and the action that was happening.
Yeah.
But when she just like, oh, there's gonna be some type of moment here, and then Power Broker just shoots her twice or whatever, you're like, well.
I mean, I get
a random citizen, right? So just back, like, you know.
My buddy and I were talking about it, and him and I were both saying, had Sharon actually shot her before Carly even, like, pulled up the gun, or, like, you know, like, if she had just done it in a way that made it seem like she shot her to protect Sam so that it made a little bit more sense, I would have been down with it. But the way she does it is kind of like, yes, they really made it seem like Carly was going to shoot Sam. And I kind of would have liked Carly, that whole idea of Carly being on the fence about how far she's going and how far she's willing to go. Yes, she pushed the envelope repeatedly, but Sam was the only character who kept getting through to her. And if they'd given Sam that opportunity to talk to her and maybe talk her down, and then Sharon shoots her because Sharon's tried to protect her secret, because Carly, you know, maybe Carly says something like a speech like, you know, the American ideals still might try and be perfect, but even some of your allies can't be trusted. And then she shoots her, you know, and then she shoots her, and you're like, and then Sam freaks out. It's like, why'd you do it? She was giving in. That scene to me would have explained Sharon better, would have explained Carly's death better.
That was so well said. That's a much better. That just gives you much more of an emotional hold.
Even just something as simple as that. Like, even, you know, even your own allies aren't like anything, just to kind of fit with the whole theme that throughout the show, no one was perfect. America's not perfect. The world's not perfect, and we get that. Even Sam isn't perfect. He's just trying to do his best by everybody, and I think that could have been interesting. But instead, we got an unfortunate version of that death, and thus
anything else happened of significance in that outside of U.S. agent getting his comic accurate?
What did you think of U.S. agent's, like, conclusion with how it ended? I thought that's a pretty big, like, nothing matters anymore. Everything's under the bridge now. I mean, like, I thought, like, you broke the law. You broke the law. You killed someone in public. You took the serum without, shouldn't say without permission, but, like, obviously they were trying to, like, not get the serum to be in many people, right? Like, that was obviously your mission. Is you went against your mission. You went rogue. Yeah, you did all these things. Oh, but after the Falcon basically put me in a position where I couldn't do anything but help, I decided to help.
Well, okay.
Okay, but you're right. He did a lot of heinous things.
Yes.
He's seemingly banned from picking up the Captain America shield, but
you're still an agent, right? So who cares what your name is?
But he's not allowed to do anything, like, government wise.
Yeah,
that was something that came up in the hearing.
He's Black Ops.
Yeah.
He's a Black Ops agent. That's what Val says at the end. You know, when America doesn't need a captain, they'll send in a U.S. agent.
Yeah,
and that is the whole idea of what his character is now.
But he's off the books. He's off the record.
Exactly.
He's not like recognized by any government. No, but exactly. but at the same time, it seems like he is, right? Wouldn't they have like
he's being recognized by the government as a U.S. agent. His costume is black because he's going to be legit going in Black Ops style, right. Like, you know, night missions, like, you know, again, it's the idea of it's like X-Force in the comic book with Wolverine and Deadpool and Phantom X and that team that goes in and does the missions nobody wants to do. You're not going to get Captain America to go in and kill world leaders, but U.S. agent would go in and kill world leaders. Mm-hmm. And that America always wanted Captain America or to have a super soldier like Captain America equal to, and this is the thing that I don't know if most people notice, America wants their own Winter Soldier. That's what U.S. agent is. U.S. agent is America's Winter Soldier.
Yeah, that makes
sense. The funny thing about his suit, though, is that when I saw it the first time, I'm like, your best camouflage is to like go on a highway and stand on the side of the road because like it'll look like you're like one of those signals that you have to turn or whatever.
But yeah, I mean, I hope Val's working on the Thunderbolts in some way. I'm bringing in Julia Louis-Dreyfus to play Val was cool.
Kind of a power move, though. A little power move, but like she's got name recognition right off the bat. Especially,
I think you know what? I think they needed that because they knew. Honestly, I think they knew the show wasn't all that. Like they knew the show would have its moments, but they needed something that would grab the audience in a certain way. And this was probably the only thing this season. Was there really much? Like, think about it. We knew he was going to be Captain America.
Yes.
We knew the new Captain America would go bad.
Yes.
We knew what's it called? Actually, that's pretty much the only thing that
is going to be Falcon.
Yeah, like Elijah Bradley, like those things we knew about as they were happening. But everything else that happened around that.
That was the only thing that shocked me. It's the only thing that I was just like, oh, I didn't expect this, and I like it. That's one. But
Sharon wasn't a shocker. It was just a letdown.
No, it was a letdown. Yeah,
it was a surprise. It was a surprise that turned into a letdown.
Yeah,
But the thing is, when you're making this movie, especially like, let's be honest, like anyone who knows anything about comic books, when you're getting a movie called Falcon and Winter Soldier, and the last thing you saw in regards to the Captain America universe is that Captain America is no longer Steve Rogers, you know right away it's going to be Sam. So like,
you said Captain America is no longer Steve Rogers, but it's the other way around.
No longer Captain America.
Well, I guess it kind of makes sense that way too. Sorry.
Sorry for the grammatical error, but you knew what I was trying to say. But what I'm saying is that once that happens, you know what they have to do to get to the next movie. They're not going to make a movie about him getting the shield.
No.
And then you need to figure out a three-part. You'd have to have a trilogy for that to happen.
Well, they knew they needed the show to be able to bring back Captain America in some form. So they okayed the show. They tied up all the loose ends about the characters from the Captain America movies. Black Widow is gonna tie up her loose ends with her films and introduce Yelena. And the next Captain America movie will be Captain America Sam Wilson. You'll have Bucky as Winter Soldier or whatever name he wants to go by at that point. Possibly someone was telling me that he might be turning into Nomad instead of Steve Rogers. He'll take the Nomad name.
Okay. That'd be cool.
I personally would like him to go back to Wakanda and be the White Wolf and the head of the Hatut Zeraze, the Dogs of War from the Wakanda, because that's a whole other organization that I think would be super cool and super interesting as a story that they could do. But anyways, so you're gonna get that, and then you're gonna get Yelena as Black Widow now with the new Cap, and they've essentially replaced all their characters. The only person they have to replace now is Tony in some way. Because
Ironheart, no? Is it Ironheart?
Yeah, I don't think Ironheart's going to be able to hold up to Tony the same way, and I don't think War Machine is going to take. So I don't know what they're going to do.
No. That's exactly what they're going to do. They're definitely going to make, especially if you have a star like Don Cheadle. Don Cheadle will be able to make a good movie. So like,
I want to believe you're right. I, as a person of color, don't expect them to have that many people of color as leads in. That's the unfortunate thing.
I see what you're saying, but you have other movies to compensate for that, though.
Sure. I'm just saying, when it comes to building your superhero, the new Avengers team, to have a black Cap, a black Iron Man, and your new Black Widow, your new Bucky, who else are they going to introduce? Monica Rambeau. Like,
Yeah.
Kamala Khan.
I am totally down for them to do
I'm
this.
down with that, but I know what you.
I
know where
don't
you're going.
think we'll see it because that's
industry.
That's me being negative, because that's what it literally is what they're moving towards. So I have no reason to think that's not where they're going to go. But that's just me being me.
I
see a bunch of people mentioning in the chat here, asking us about Loki. That's going to be coming in June. I don't like, which, pretty quick. I mean, the Bad Batch is going to be coming next. That's the next show that Disney Plus is going to be putting out. So that's for the Star Wars nerds. If you guys are out there, the Bad Batch is literally a continuation of Clone Wars, from what I understand. So if you guys watched the Clone Wars, you met the Bad Batch. They're clones that were slightly different. They each have unique characteristics. It's going to be really interesting. So for my Star Wars fans out there, get ready. There's some content coming for you. Loki, though, and the Ministry of Time, I always forget what they're called, but Loki and his story is going to be interesting. And I think
it'll be on par with WandaVision.
Yes. And there's going to be a lot of time travel. There's going to be sorcery. There's going to be some really interesting stuff. I think we're going to get to see I think Marvel's going to use this as an opportunity to introduce some very interesting characters into the MCU, because this is it's time travel. It's your chance to just go crazy. None of it has to be locked down. And the fact that we know that Kang is going to be showing up with the Fantastic Four, and you're going to have Loki running around through time, and Kang is a time. Like, if we get a glimpse of Kang in Loki, I'm excited.
This is what made Falcon and Winter Soldier something to be obviously the worst of the three that were coming out. I'm sorry. Because when you have WandaVision with how good it was, and you have Loki, which has so much promise because of what they can do.
Yeah.
You know what the problem with Falcon Winter Soldier is that, as we said before, you had a story that was very predictable. You knew exactly what was going to happen.
Yeah.
And the only thing that they were supposed to do was have cool action scenes, and they didn't give enough of that. Yeah. They tried to make it up with sending certain messages and doing certain throwbacks, which I do like the cameos that were in it.
Yeah,
and
too much dialogue.
But yeah, exactly. But again, spy movie, but
I see, dialogue. My buddy, when I told my buddy episode 5 wasn't great, my buddy was just like, I don't know why you didn't like episode 5. Episode 5 set up so many things. Yes, and I get that. But episode 5 also had a huge portion of it talking about a boat.
Yeah.
And I was just like, I get the importance of showing who Sam is and showing how grounded he is. I think we've done that, though.
I think we got that from episode 1.
Yeah, and that for me was why by the time you get to episode 5 and you have a whole thing of mom and dad were always in the community. They always helped everybody. So, we can call on them. And you literally show us you calling on them. I didn't need to see you actually doing the calling on them.
Yeah.
And
that was a good 20 minutes.
Yeah, and whether or not, I like the episode, but I didn't love the episode.
Yeah.
And that's why. Guys, we got 2 more shows that we want to talk about. I don't know if you guys saw the Nevers, but let's talk about Invincible first. Invincible continues to be an amazing show. Prime has been doing their thing, holding it down. If you guys read the comic book, they have leaps and bounds. They have jumped in ways that I, again, still did not.
They're in hyperspeed compared to the graphic novel.
They're really mixing up how the story's flowing, and I'm okay with it. There's some stuff that I don't like. There's one thing in particular I don't like that I'll say.
Robot?
No, a robot I thought was good.
Okay.
I thought robot to me is still the same. The fact that he glitches was weird because he never does that in the comic book. To get him to glitch, you had to overdo him. And he's never done that in the comic book. In the comic book, at one point in the comic book, in an issue I was reading recently, he is at 3 different fights and on a date and trying to figure out portal technology from another reality. He's doing all of that at the same time. And then you guys had him glitching in this one because of one instance. I thought that was weird. But again, it's because I have these connections to these characters.
But it was also the glitch with when he's in the bad body, so that could have been a reason why he was glitching. He gets the young body, right?
Sure. I get that. It's just, again, in the comic book, that doesn't even phase him. When he transfers from the bodies, none of that stuff affects how he works. If they want to make him a little more flawed, cool. I find it interesting when you start to, because that, to me, that glitch moment laid the groundwork for something down the road, because in the comic book he does not glitch like that, and that to me became a very big moment. As someone who knows the character, I was just like, that's weird, because he never ever does that.
Do you so this episode picks up from Mark and his best friend and his girlfriend Amber coming back from the other campus where they had the whole crazy event with
Reaniman,
his best friend's boyfriend. Mark was been struggling with telling Amber about his identity.
Yeah. Okay. So
he finally gets the courage to tell her about his identity by coming into costume into her bedroom.
Yeah.
And the most anticlimactic thing happened.
Huge.
She says, "Oh, this is what you've been holding back? I've known this for a while."
Yeah.
I found that weird.
But then that leads me to think.
I hate that.
So that whole thing that happened last episode was not needed.
Yeah.
Because you legit
you running away doesn't make sense. Like her being upset about him running away doesn't make sense.
No,
you know that he's the hero.
Oh, that's not why she's upset. She's upset because he doesn't. No, she's not upset for that though. She's upset because he doesn't trust her enough to tell her. That's what she said.
Yeah, but like this character seems to be a smart person. She should realize that if she thinks she's correct, that if I'm like example, if I was dating someone who I thought was a superhero, and I had to think of one of the basic reasons why they wouldn't tell me,
preaching to the choir,
why would we break up? What happens when we break up if we were to break up? And two, let's say we never break up. Aren't you concerned about me and my family? Because if someone knows who you are, they're going to know who I am, and then that.
You want to know why I hated it? Because it shows it's almost like, so the guy friend who he never told could handle it, but the girl couldn't. So
many things. I genuinely hate that change. In the comic book, Amber doesn't figure it out. He tells her, she's shocked, and in the usual comic book fashion, the same thing as when the friend found out, she's just like, "Can you take me flying?" That's a running gag in the comic book that every time someone finds out, they're like, "Can I go flying with you?" So that version of Amber, where she just accepts it and is like, "Oh, okay, this a lot more makes sense," I was cool with. Changing Amber from a blonde, blue-eyed girl to a black woman, and then changing that instance to Amber being selfish bothered me. Because
it didn't rub me wrong, but it did rub me wrong in the wrong way, because it's like, well, I mean,
I'm not saying it's race-based. I'm just saying I'm just saying seeing Amber now and Amber being like, "Why wouldn't you have trusted me with this information?" Just like, because I have a secret identity for a reason. Yeah, but you didn't trust me. No, we've been dating for only this much time, in which I've been in the hospital for a certain amount of time. I almost died. Whether or not you figured it out, one, you could have said you figured it out and asked me about it if you wanted to. Yeah. Or if not, just wait till I'm ready to tell you, because obviously I'm not ready to tell you for a reason. It's not like
I brought you a rock back from Mars.
Yeah, I'm not. You know what it is? But it's not like he's a serial killer or he's trying to hide some stuff, because he's people. He's not telling her because he's a hero and it makes them a target, like Dave said.
That was the only blemish on the show, but I think that is Mark gonna go bad with his dad?
I don't think so. I think he's going to join his dad. His dad's going to cross a line, and then they're going to have a Batman and Nightwing moment.
Interesting. I'm interested. If you guys are right and they change that much of the story, I'm super interested. I'm down, because that would be a very different take. There, one of the things that I read, one of the characters that we haven't seen yet that I think we should have seen by this point, Angstrom Levy, who's this guy who has he has powers and is able to portal between different parallel universes. Sorry, because there's actually a whole part about dimensions versus alternate realities and the comic book, but he can teleport between alternate realities. But all the other versions of him are super geniuses, and the one that has the power to teleport is the only one that's not a super genius but has the power to teleport. So
interesting.
He's essentially a take on Reed Richards. That's what the character is supposed to be, because it's the Council of Richards that they do in the comic book, where Reed Richards meets with like all the other Reed Richards. Yeah.
Boom.
So that character at one point tells somebody in the alternate realities, Mark goes with his dad sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
And there's reasons that he ends up being even worse than any other person, because he ends up like, there's versions where they kill him when he's a kid because they don't want him or something. There's versions where they take him away, they take over the planet before he grows up. So he always grew up expecting to be part of the Viltrumite Empire. So there's some really interesting realities. And if Kirkman and his crew are taking the show as an opportunity to show us an alternate reality from the comic book, I'm open to that, because that would to me would be cool. I don't think they're still going to have Mark work with his dad, but I now look at this show as an alternate reality version of the comic book.
I see that.
Yeah, because
technically every time you see adaptations, that's how you should see it to a certain degree. But
especially when it's well done, and like we started out by complaining about Amber and this whole thing.
The episode was amazing. The
episode was fantastic. Outside of that little blemish for me,
you know what upset me about that argument to a certain degree. If you were to like compare it to like if you were to compare it to like a real life possible conversation that someone could have, it's like, if you've ever been in a relationship and by chance you say I love you first, and the other person doesn't say it right away, you don't have you don't like, it doesn't mean that they don't like you. It doesn't mean that they won't eventually say it, but there is those times when it's happened, right?
Yeah.
And you can't be angry at the other person for not saying it right away if they're not ready.
They're just not there yet.
And that is the exact equivalent to this conversation, which made it weird, because since the beginning, she's always seemed to be someone who's grounded and understood basic interaction. Like, she's the cool kid who
they've made her irrational.
They made her irrational. She's never been irrational.
Yeah. She's been a very rational character throughout the whole run, and all of a sudden she's upset with him for not revealing something that any rational person would be like, yeah, okay, we're in a relationship, we're cool, but you're a superhero. You have to protect yourself. But no, I don't understand why you wouldn't trust me with this information. But
and
I don't.
Last episode where they made it seem like she was flirting with the dude until the dude told her he had a girlfriend, and then she was like disappointed. I was like, what is going on?
Yeah.
Why is this? It just wasn't like this Amber arc was not necessary. This last 2 episodes.
But again,
that's the only.
Yeah. If they want to change Amber up, I'm down, because the Amber we get in the comic book is a little weak, a little milquetoast. She she gets an abusive boyfriend at one point, and
this Amber would never.
Like, she gets an abusive boyfriend, and then Mark threatens the boyfriend, and then Amber takes back the boyfriend and ends up staying with the boyfriend, and stuff like that. I was just like, I remember seeing that, and I remember when they changed Amber in the show, I was just like, this version of Amber doesn't seem like she would ever let someone walk all over her. Yeah, exactly. And I don't think, and that's the thing though, I don't feel like Mark was walking all over her, but it seems like she thinks Mark was walking all over her. And that's the part I find weird.
Let's switch gears a bit and talk about Omni-Man's rampage. That's the only way I can put this.
Yeah.
That was some of the most. First of all, his wife found out in the previous episode. She confronts him straight up right away in this episode.
This is a big
almost looked. Yeah, and once his wife found out, like a switch just flipped. He's like, you know what? We're gonna continue this conversation later. You kicking me out of the house, that's fine. But right now, the fact that means I need to go get Mark now.
Yes.
So I can tell him now, and I'm not going to let anything stop me from finding Mark. And the whole episode, this guy went through everything Earth. At this point, Earth could throw at him.
When the freaking beam comes down,
the hammer. The hammer was badass.
Yo, dude, that
was Nick Fury level shit.
Yes.
Oh, but destroying the Immortal again, and like,
yo,
he took an extra second this time. Like, what?
The Immortal dies so many times in the comic book. Like, it's like,
can I ask, in the comic books, is he actually he comes off in the cartoon as like, I'm big, but in reality, like you're not a good anything. You just keep dying like an idiot.
He's immortal.
He's pretty big. He's pretty big.
Okay.
In the comic book, he's Abraham Lincoln. He's he's been like these iconic people throughout history. And it just so happens that, you know, people like in the history books, they keep writing about these awesome people, and it's the Immortal. Yeah. And it's pretty cool to see that part.
But I don't understand why he thought he could go at Omni-Man in this manner, considering how the last time went.
Yeah.
Oh, that was just rage. That was rage. That was rage. I don't think he was thinking. He knew. Yeah. He knows he can't beat him. He knows. He's lost before. With the
is it a running joke that they keep fighting each other? Those two?
No. But
this might be the last time we see him.
It was funny to me to hear him say. Didn't he say something like, "I considered you a friend," or "We've always"?
Yeah.
In the comic book, Immortal doesn't like Omni-Man.
Yeah, they made it seem like they're all one big family.
In the comic book, he tells him. I think maybe even in the episode, he might have jokingly said it, but he says in the comic book when they're fighting, "I never liked you," and then Omni-Man kills him.
Wow.
Yeah. Because then that's the thing. Omni-Man is. I can imagine if the Immortal has been around the whole time, and then Omni-Man showed up to Earth. That
you
Omni-Man
stay dead.
Yeah. Dude. I do like that Immortal got his shot in and like pushed his eyes in, so that when Omni turns around to look at Mark, his eyes are bloodshot. His uniform is like, he looks slightly.
He looks evil.
Yeah.
But he also looks like this is it. He looked like a man on his like last ropes. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And everyone's saying it, even in the chat, they're saying it was insane. I think the next episode, the next episode is going to be the fight. The fight happens in the comic book. The fight's a pretty big part. Finale. Yeah. I like that everything that's happening is not in the city, because a big part of the Invincible universe is the fact that Mark and his dad, their initial fight destroys so much of the city that it like leads people to hate Invincible for a bit. There's a lot of people who don't trust Invincible for a long time because they think it was all part of an act. And I'm excited to see how they're going to play that out.
I'm trying to figure out what happens with the mom here too.
She's just held at that base where that guy who
knows where it is and can get into it anytime.
But his goal isn't that, right? His goal is to get to Mark, because obviously he wants to explain to Mark
he wants
whatever reason why he did what he did, which is, I'm assuming, just to get the Viltrumites taking over Earth.
It makes it sound like he has no choice in the show. The way he's been sort of talking about it, he's like, I had to do it. I had no choice. Every time he's had a chance to explain it to either his wife, so far his wife, and I'm assuming with Mark, he's going to go along with the same. I had no choice. It was for your own protection, like stuff like that, which makes me go, is it actually going to be a different direction? Like, if you don't take over this planet by a certain time, someone else is going to come from Viltrum, and you know what I mean? Like, is there like a
kill the Earth?
But that's still accurate from the comic book. Like that's not even a change. The idea is that if you don't succeed your mission, they send another agent, and if you haven't done it, either they report back or they take you. So
it makes sense that he's trying to explain it to them in his own sick, twisted way that, like, if I don't do this, someone else will, and they won't spare you.
Oh, yeah. Because in the comic book, after Omni-Man, which I won't say exactly what happens, but at one point, Mark is the like agent for Viltrumite on Earth, and they keep coming and checking up on him to be like, have you started, like, are you in the midst of preparation for our arrival? And Mark is just like ignoring them. He's like, sure, and then they like fuck off. But it's kind of this weird thing of like they essentially believe in some way that he's supposed to be preparing, and they just keep checking in. But it's weird.
That's
it's
great.
a really it's a weird thing. But yeah, Cecil Stedman, who was played by Walton Goggins, he's a fucking cool character. The fact that this guy, dude, when the tie got ripped off.
Mm-hmm.
I went like this. I raised my hands because like, oh snap, he almost killed you. Like you can tell all you want, but
that's how fast Omni-Man is too.
Omni-Man is so fast that he ripped the tie as he was teleporting. Like he touched it.
Good for Cecil for trying. Man, he put himself on he put everyone else on the line, but he also put himself on the line.
Yeah.
So it wasn't like I'm just throwing people out there. And I'm gonna try.
R.I.P. to my boy Donald. Who like, dude, I felt for that dude because that dude tried. He tried.
But he knew the moment they got caught. What do? You're gonna die.
Yeah, he knew it right away. He knew it right. He's looking for the button. Like, I need to press the button.
Man,
that was rough.
Nobody was spared.
When he gets first attacked by the 3 cyborg guys, like, do you notice how at first he's like whatever, and then they take him down, and you see him get angry right away.
Yeah,
I don't know if you guys noticed like the little subtlety there, but I was like, that's what's cool about this show. They're good at the little annual. What's the word I'm looking for?
Mannerisms. A
little.
The Reanimen are pretty dope, though.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah, the Reanimen are in the comic book and in the show. They've made them really interesting. I like what they did because it was just like these guys did not stop, and like. Omni was not playing. Like Omni-Man was just
he realized he had to take it up another gear to get rid of him. He thought he could just slap him away, you know?
Yeah. It was funny. We gotta get to the Nevers. Yeah. I don't know if you guys had a chance to watch it. I just want to tell people it's an interesting show.
2 or 3 episodes.
3 episodes in.
3.
Yeah, 3 episodes are out. Interesting show. It's essentially the X-Men meet Victorian England.
That's what it looks like to me.
It's literally that. It's Joss Whedon essentially made his own X-Men series.
Oh, it is Joss Whedon.
Yeah, he does leave the show though. He directs. Yeah. He directs, I think, 4 episodes or 5 episodes, and then was bumped. Or step down, whatever bullshit.
Sure, after the whole controversy stuff.
Yeah.
Okay.
But it really is just him doing the X-Men. That is what it is. Like,
interesting.
Yeah, you watch the show and you're just like, okay, so you're like this mutant and you have fireballs and okay, and this guy's like Stryker who wants to get rid of all of you, and okay, this guy's taking advantage and it's like, okay, but to me, I mean, I'm okay with that because I like X-Men. So if you're going to give me different versions of X-Men, I'm not going to complain. As long as you do it well, right? As long as you do it well, which is always the commentary. If you're going to do a story,
we always like those mutants on a run shows or that comes out. As long as it's like entertaining and enough, they're usually fun to watch. Yeah. Season
1 of The Gifted, that was fun to watch.
That was so fun to watch.
Like I wasn't mad at The Gifted. And then, then it, unfortunately, you could tell they're just like, well, we don't really know what to write anymore, so we're just going to kind of get all crazy.
They were doing so good.
Yeah, they really were. But yeah, so, if you guys are looking for something like that to check out, 3 episodes out. If you're in Canada, it's on Crave. If you're in the States, it's on HBO Max. If you're in other markets, I have no clue what channel it's on because y'all ain't in where are we at. I don't know where it is, kids. But
I would. What did I watch? Shadow and Bone. Nah.
Yeah, I didn't finish it, so don't tell me. I'm only 3. I only got 3 episodes on that.
3 episodes in. Okay. It's okay.
But see, Shadow and Bone to me just looks like Avatar: The Last Airbender, but 100%. Which is funny because Netflix is working on a live action Avatar: The Last Airbender.
They seem to be doing that. They work in shows that seem to be parallels of each other, which is weird. Yeah. But anyway,
that's always been a thing, though. Even with the in movies, like The Illusionist and that other.
Yeah, but usually that's from 2 separate companies, right? 2 separate production companies. Whereas now Netflix is kind of like monopolizing. They usually have like 2 or 3 of the same kinds of movies and see which one hits or something. Yeah. Or TV shows. But that's fine. If they have billions, obviously have billions to spend. So I guess they don't really have time to check on if someone's doing the same idea as someone else.
Let's get to, we got to get to the geek news and rumors. End off the show. Geek news and rumors. I saw Skinny in the green room for a second, but then he bounced. I guess he.
Did he?
I guess if anything, he says, "What's up, y'all?" If he comes back, hopefully, maybe he's watching and he'll know to jump back in. Ironheart episode count confirmed. Interesting. I did see them talking
like
about
Winter Falcon.
Okay. I feel like the 6 episode, the 6 episode format is going to be the like short films.
The norm. Yeah, but see, don't break it up. I'm tired of if it feels the same as Winter Falcon, where it's like a movie broken up into 6-hour movie broken up into hour-long episodes, I'll be pissed.
Yeah,
I would rather you give me a mini series, like 3 episodes, but just connect them better.
Yeah.
I just don't want to see. I don't want it to be the norm if this is what they're going for.
Like Loki, when I look at Loki, that to me doesn't, from the trailer at least, doesn't look like a movie. It looks like episodic adventures where he's like doing different crazy things in each episode.
Yep, exactly.
Ironheart, I'm thinking they're probably going to stick to a serial format. Yeah. But I hope you're right. I hope maybe they will go episodic. We'll see. I mean, it's still early days. I'm not sure. I don't know. Maybe we'll see something different. This show, Ms. Marvel, Hawkeye, and the Hawkeye series. Hopefully, all of those will be more episodic than Falcon, Winter Soldier. We'll see.
And they give the head writing job to Chineka Hodge, who's the one of the screenwriters on the TV show Snowpiercer.
Dope.
So
I mean,
she apparently pitched the 6 episode arc to Marvel, and they chose her. So it must be something spectacular. So we'll see.
Okay.
Yeah. And she's a poet, by the way, too, so I'm interested.
Oh, interesting. Yeah. Is she's not that poet though?
No.
That big. Okay.
No.
I like that when we say that poet, you know exactly what I'm talking about these days. Everyone's just like, oh, we know who that poet is. The inauguration poet in the state, though. But yeah, next thing I see here, they cast Scarecrow for season 3 of Titans.
Which how long? When was season 2? How long ago has it been now? Almost 2 years.
Yeah, probably because of the pandemic, it got pushed back.
Yeah, exactly.
Damn, that's a long time for a show like that was just catching steam.
Yeah, it really is.
I actually genuinely miss the show. I
kind of do too, but I feel detached from it now.
Some of your actors are going to be too old. Remember Raven? Like Raven from season 1 to season 2 already aged up so much that we're just like, you don't even look. Remember the beginning of season 2 is supposed to be the next moment after the end of season 1, and we're like, she aged 2 years, like, and now season 3 she's gonna be the same height as Starfire, and you're gonna be like, guys, you got to film these closer back to back. This kid's gonna be taller than. But yeah,
and I don't know what Scarecrow's role will be in this, by the way.
I don't even like this actor. This is the dude from whatchamacallit, Mad Men. I don't like this dude.
He was the what's that girl's husband?
Yeah, the girl from Handmaid's Tale.
Yeah. I didn't do her justice.
I don't know. Hey, whatever.
I was kind of hoping that they weren't going to go with like another Batman-centric villain.
Elizabeth Moss. Should remember that.
Yeah.
Sorry, Batman-centric villain.
Like you could have chosen a lot because, like, obviously, if they're casting as the Scarecrow, he's probably going to be one of, if not the big bad of the show.
Yeah.
And if that's the case, it's like you already had Deathstroke.
I was going to say,
you know what I mean? Like, you don't need, like, you have so many other people you can choose from. Obviously, you're not going to choose Lex Luthor for Superboy, but I mean, you have other people to choose from to.
You know what, guys? At this point, I would even dare say, dig into your catalog and pick random villains. You like, if
like,
you've done
take on Parasite.
No, but not even because we've seen Parasite. We've seen Parasite on Supergirl. We've seen Scarecrow in the movies. We've seen Deathstroke. We've seen Lex Luthor. We've seen Riddler. We've seen Penguin. We've seen Catwoman. Do somebody else. There's so many villains. Do Prometheus. Do anybody. You could do any of these characters, but you keep using the same 10 villains.
You know what's funny is I thought they were using Mercy Graves a bit more too, and I was looking forward to see like how that develops, right?
Yeah.
It's weird that you would just automatically switch to another Blackfire is supposed to come too, no?
Yeah. That's what I thought the season was gonna be.
Yeah,
I thought it was gonna be the Blackfire season.
He's gonna play an important part, but obviously they're still gonna throw in something for the. And you have the Red Hood who's gonna come in, he's gonna be an ambiguous at the beginning, right? Because that's the whole thing. Especially with the fact that last season his interactions with Deathstroke twisted him a little. So it's not your classic Red Hood story where Red Hood got abused by the Joker, comes back years later. It's Red Hood who got brainwashed a little by Deathstroke. So we're probably going to see something akin to a kind of brainwashed version of it. But to me, I would put a moratorium on any character you've done in the last 10 years. You have so many other characters you could choose from. Hell, even Dr. Light you could have kept. You brought in Dr. Light. When have we seen Dr. Light live action before? I don't remember.
Yeah, you had Shimmer too, right?
Yeah, like you could have kept these guys. Instead, you killed them off in 2 seconds so you could reuse Deathstroke. Why?
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know, man.
I'm just again, WB is their own biggest enemy.
Yeah, man. It really is.
Scarecrow is actually the catalyst to when Red Hood officially changes. Actually, now that I'm thinking about it.
Through the fear gas, but I mean,
well, like he's all fucked up, and then he gets the fear gas even more. It can make him literally go crazy, right?
Same.
Like going through the Lazarus pit and then having to come back.
Whatever it is, I don't want it. Is what I'm saying. I don't want these same characters. I'm already annoyed that we're doing the same heroes all the time because DC has so many heroes they could pull from, and we get Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, and Batman affiliated, Flash affiliated. Like Arrow having his own show was the biggest change they've done in a decade. The Legends of Tomorrow is one of the most random ragtag teams, but at least they're different characters.
Yeah.
But also they aren't taken seriously. Half of the time it's considered a joke that they're on there, and it's like, well, that's unfortunate. But hey, I'd rather see them as a joke than not see them at all, because I don't want to see, like, what are you going to do with Batwoman now if you're using half of the Batman villains over on the Titans? You know what I mean? Like, you're not going to use Scarecrow now in Batwoman.
Yeah, so, fuck Batwoman. She's on they're not on the same network.
Sure. I get it.
And I guess let's be honest. If we're going to talk about this, DC does that at least better than CW in regards to this show.
HBO Max does, yes. Because now it's just 100%. HBO Max. Yeah, I agree. I'm just saying, at the end of the day, you're still all under the same damn umbrella, and you keep using the same damn characters. It's getting boring. Move on from it, guys. You know, Legends of Tomorrow. I didn't even get to mention the whole Mick is leaving the show. The guy who played Rory with the fire. What's his Heat Wave? That dude's leaving the show, and supposedly he left under bad terms because he posted a tweet and had to take it down.
Yeah. I saw that too. I just didn't look into it.
Yeah, but I mean, that's like we're saying, the WB is their own worst enemy. Something's not right in some sections. Do better, guys. Please. Guys, that's pretty much the end of the show. That's not much else we could say or add. We want to thank you guys for tuning into the show as you do. We appreciate all you guys. We've been seeing all the comments. I want to say a shout outs to my computer just froze. Okay, it's unfrozen. I want to shout outs to Dan, Jay Grizz, Devin, Lee J, Yannick. Who else do we have here? Mob's Goodness. I mean, and anyone else who's been watching. I know Paige sometimes watches and gives a shout out. Shout outs to Paige. Eva sometimes watches. Shout out to her. Michelle sometimes watches, and Danielle watches. And to all our friends, all the affiliated, all the people who love us, we appreciate you guys. Thank you for tuning in on a weekly basis. Episode 250 is going to be, if all works out, is going to be the last episode in May, which is pretty crazy. We'll probably try and do something big for it. Fingers crossed. We're really excited.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm super excited for it. I think it'd be
Try
really
to cook
cool.
something up for that.
Yeah. So, and like we've been saying for the last couple of weeks, vote Geektastic Cypher for best podcast, category 23 on Cult MTL's Best of Montreal list. You guys can go and hit that up. The link is in the description of the podcast. Whether you're listening to it or if you're watching on YouTube, we put the link right there. So you guys can go click on it and you can vote for your favorite podcast. And you have to fill out 25 categories minimum for your votes to count. So if you guys need ideas, hit up your favorite hosts. We are right here. We got a whole bunch of ideas and people that we would give love to and show some appreciation to. That's it, guys. Anything you guys want to say to the people before we sign off? Or say goodbye? No, that's it.
Stay sane, get your exercise in.
There you go. True. Curfew back to 9:30 in Montreal and Laval. If you are tuned in from here, if you're tuned in from anywhere else in the world where you're free to do normal things, yes, we still live in a prison state. That's how it's starting to feel. It's getting really bad. Curfew. The people have been posting pictures of.
If Brian's saying this, it's bad.
Yeah. It is.
It's gotten to peak.
It's gotten
horrible.
It's gotten bad. Literally, people have been posting a meme of a guy running out of a cage and being in a bigger cage. And I'm like, yes, that's what it feels like. Curfew got bumped to 9:30. You're in a bigger cage.
You know what's crazy about that, though, is that we're not under a curfew here, and it kind of still feels the same. Sure, I can go outside past a certain time, but there's nothing outside.
Yeah.
There's nothing. Like, it's the concept of like you not being like they are like practice social distancing, but you can't practice social distancing whatsoever because your ass has to be home by a certain time.
Yeah.
It's nuts.
Yeah.
It's nuts.
Anyways, thanks you guys for tuning in. We'll be back next week with another one. Peace. We appreciate y'all.
Deuces.